Farlight 84 had everything. Fast movement, jetpacks, hero abilities, clean gunplay. For a short time in 2023, people thought this game had a real shot at becoming the next big battle royale. Steam charts exploded, content creators jumped in, TikTok clips went viral. Then, the developers made one decision, and the game collapsed. This is the story of how Farlight 84 went from one of the most promising shooters in gaming to one of the biggest falls from grace in multiplayer gaming. When Farlight 84 launched globally, players got hooked fast. The game stood out in a market flooded with copy-paste shooters. Most battle royales felt identical. Drop in, loot, camp, third-party fights, repeat. Farlight felt different because of the jetpacks. Players could dodge bullets mid-fight, take high ground instantly, outplay squads through movement. The game rewarded aggressive gameplay. Mechanical skill mattered. And the timing helped. Apex Legends Mobile had just shut down. That left a massive gap in the mobile shooter market. Millions of players still wanted a fast-paced hero shooter on mobile, and Farlight stepped directly into that space. People started calling it the new Apex Mobile. According to SteamDB, the game hit over 41,000 concurrent players in June 2023. For a free-to-play mobile-focused shooter, those numbers were massive. Creators started covering the game heavily. Movement montages exploded on YouTube. Ranked gameplay pulled huge views. Everything pointed toward growth. But there was one problem. The developers didn't seem to understand why players loved the game. That became obvious in early 2024. Farlight released its huge 2.0 update, and instead of improving the core gameplay, they changed the identity of the game completely. The biggest change? Jetpacks were basically removed from normal gameplay. If you never played Farlight, that might not sound important, but for the community, this was catastrophic. The movement system was the game. Removing jetpacks from Farlight is like removing building from Fortnite. Players instantly panicked. Backlash exploded across Reddit, Discord, YouTube, and Steam. Sportskeeda reported that the backlash became so severe that the developers publicly addressed complaints after seeing community reactions. But by then, the damage had already started. Players felt betrayed, because this wasn't a balance update. This felt like a completely different game. One Reddit user explained it perfectly. They removed jetpacks, changed the UI, changed character designs, changed abilities, and changed skins people paid for. That single comment explains why the community collapsed. Players didn't feel like Farlight evolved, they felt like their game got deleted. And the replacement movement system made things worse. Instead of jetpack mobility, players got a slide mechanic called Jet Slide. The response was brutal. One Reddit player wrote, "Jet Slide sucks. It feels bad on keyboard and controller." Another player said, "It felt like we weren't even playing the same game anymore." That's devastating for a live service shooter, because games like this survive through consistency. Players spend hundreds of hours mastering mechanics and movement. Farlight threw all of that away overnight. And once players leave multiplayer games, getting them back is almost impossible. The Steam charts tell the whole story. After peaking above 41,000 players, numbers steadily collapsed. By 2026, average Steam player counts dropped into the hundreds. That is one of the sharpest multiplayer declines in recent years. And the community knew exactly why it happened. One player wrote, "The game has been dead since the 2.0 update." What makes this collapse interesting is how avoidable it was. The developers already had something most live service games struggle to build: a loyal community. Players wanted this game to succeed. Even angry posts sounded disappointed more than hateful. People kept repeating the same sentence: "This game had so much potential." That word follows almost every failed multiplayer game: potential. Because people saw what Farlight could have become. But the problems kept stacking up. Players started complaining about optimization issues after updates. Some players reported losing huge amounts of FPS. Others complained about lag, bad matchmaking, controller problems, and poor balancing. For mobile games, performance matters more than almost anything. If your game overheats phones or kills FPS, people uninstall fast. As updates became larger and heavier, more casual players started leaving. That creates a chain reaction. Queue times increase, matchmaking gets worse, bots fill lobbies, competitive players leave next. Eventually, the game enters a death spiral. That's exactly what happened to Farlight. And there's another layer most people miss: identity crisis. Farlight started trying to appeal to everyone. That usually destroys multiplayer games. The original audience loved high-mobility gameplay, but instead of doubling down on that niche, the developers tried simplifying mechanics for broader appeal. That decision backfired, because they lost the hardcore community without gaining enough new players to replace them. One Reddit comment explained this perfectly. They cater to an audience that don't even play their game. That line hits hard because this happens constantly in gaming. Studios panic, they chase trends, they simplify mechanics, and they accidentally erase what made their game unique. Farlight stopped feeling special. At that point, players had better alternatives. Warzone Mobile existed, PUBG Mobile still dominated globally. COD Mobile stayed huge. Farlight no longer had a clear reason to exist. That's fatal for free-to-play multiplayer games, because once players stop logging in daily, everything starts collapsing. Less players means less cosmetic sales, less creator coverage, less Twitch visibility, less momentum. Everything feeds into everything else. The developers did try recovering. They partially walked back some movement changes after Backlash. Updates continued, events continued, content kept dropping. But trust was already broken, and trust is everything in live service games. Players need confidence that developers understand their own game. After 2.0, many players lost that confidence permanently. Even years later, community discussions still revolve around the same complaints: performance issues, hackers, missing old mechanics, poor updates. And today, shutdown rumors constantly surround the game. Some reports claim the game entered a maintenance mode style state, with slower development and fewer updates. That's brutal for a game that once looked unstoppable. Now, obviously, calling Farlight 84 the biggest fall from grace in gaming history is dramatic. Games like Anthem and Concord collapsed too. But Farlight feels different for one reason. The community knows exactly when the game died. Version 2.0. That's rare. Usually, games fade slowly. Farlight hit a wall instantly. And the craziest part? The developers were warned beforehand. Players begged them not to remove jetpacks. The community understood the game's identity better than the studio did. That's the lesson here. Multiplayer communities form around identity. People play unique games because they feel unique. When developers remove the core identity, they remove the reason players stayed. Farlight 84 could have owned the mobile hero shooter market after Apex Mobile disappeared. Instead, the game became an example of how fast momentum disappears when developers stop listening to players. And that's what makes this story frustrating. Because for a while, Farlight 84 was genuinely one of the most fun shooters on the market. Then the studio tried turning it into something else, and players walked away.